As many people know, there's been a lot of bombings in Iraq, and at one point in March of 2007, there was a bombing of Al-Mutanabbi Street, which is a street of booksellers and a place where people come casually to exchange ideas. And one of the things that the people there felt was imperative was in to some way say that the exchange of ideas is important, and so we have to make some way to commemorate that. A Book Arts Alliance got together and said, we want to do an exhibit where we show the world what happens when people who are interested in books try to piece back those books that were torn apart. And one of the artists was decided to give Hofstra the first book from her series of 3 books. One of the things that is amazing about rare books is that they're rare for either the reasons that there's only a few of them, sometimes it's because they're old, and sometimes it's simply because the artist that put them together only makes a certain number of them and they commemorate something significant. In this case, the artist managed to use the headscarves of people from the Middle East as the covers, and the tassels are here to represent the tassels on the scarves. And in this particular book, the artist chose to use The Philosophy of Mankind, Immanuel Kant's book, and take one sentence out of that book and replicate it in these wonderful gold leaf papers and put that line across this wonderful accordion. And it's to commemorate the idea of philosophy and how important it is to the thinking man. And I just think it's a fabulous tribute to the intellectuals of the world. This particular book is called The Memory of Al-Mutanabbi Street, and it's small little accordions with the people's names who were killed during the bombing. There were over 30 people who were killed and over 100 people who were injured, as well as all the destruction of the businesses that were on that street. So the artist actually took the names and created sort of a ladder-like device that leads to the memory in the center, where she describes how many people were killed and what happened on that particular day. We're anticipating the delivery of a 3rd book. The interesting thing about how the books are coming to us are they're in small airmail envelopes in little plastic bags from Belgium. The artist lives in Belgium. She's done a number of other wonderful rare books that are in special collections all around the world. And we don't really know what the 3rd book is going to look like, but I'm eagerly awaiting its arrival on our doorstep. What I try to do in our Special Collections Department at Hofstra, which is different than at many Special Collections departments around the country, is that we want our undergraduate students to experience rare books. So they can come in and see these books, they can look at them and try to understand the events that occurred and what the book artists themselves were feeling when they created these wonderful, small, rare pieces. I want the students to have the opportunity to look at illuminated manuscripts, to look at calfskin-bound books, to find the things that are rare in our collection and just be in love with them like we are. And it's a wonderful experience for undergraduates because they don't get that experience in many, many places. One of the things we try to do is to create different paths for the students to walk down, and we haven't had many books from the Middle East or in response to Middle Eastern disasters before. So this is really a new thing for Hofstra. We do have fabulous travelogues and books that describe places, but we don't have this particular type of material in the archives previously, so this is a great opportunity for our students. One of the hopes is that we will use our cases down in Special Collections to both exhibit these particular pieces as well as to discuss some of the books that are tiny books. We have lots of little tiny books in the collection, and just from their sheer size and the exquisite covers that they might have or the wonderful interior pages, people get an opportunity to see what book artists do, and I'd love people to be able to see a whole group of them so they can appreciate the time and work that it takes to create them.